Hey there, I'm Lindsay Dreyer, host of the Joyfulpreneur podcast, where I share tips, tricks, and strategies to help women entrepreneurs maximize joy and freedom in their lives and businesses. Let's dive into today's episode. All right, so it is confession time. I am an absolute computer nerd. I started coding HTML websites when I was 14, and honestly, I am obsessed with technology and workflows. It's one of my favorite parts of my business. So today, I am going to let you in on my secret world of inbox management. I get anxiety when I see you people that have 1,000 or more unread messages in your inbox. I absolutely have a heart attack. And no joke, as I'm recording this, I have count it, 5 emails in my inbox, and they are intentionally there for a reason. I am going to give you my secrets today, and they are specifically for Google Workspace or Gmail, but I am sure you could figure this out on Outlook or whichever email platform you're using. I will also put in the show notes a link where you can download my instructional video so you can actually get your eyes on it. So if you are a more visual learner like myself, you can go ahead and download that. All right, so let's dive in to inbox mess to inbox success. Step number 1 is setting up your stars. It is very simple. You go into settings, see all settings, and scroll down to stars. There are a lot of different stars to choose from. You can choose multiple colored stars. They also have marks that are associated with a specific color. Really, what it comes down to is that you need to figure out what categories of emails come in that you need to keep track of. So I will give you my cheat sheet, and you can steal it if you want, or create your own, riff off of it. Yellow star equals a task that I have to do today. The red alert star is super important, or it's a follow-up item that I have to do today. So that's my emergency signal. Green check has to do with money. So anything that's related to money, I associate with the green check star. And then lastly, blue info. So that is a I in a blue box. And for me, that's just important information that I need to reference later. So for example, it could be login information, or maybe it's just an email that has important stuff that I will need to reference at some point in time. Those are my 4 that I use. You can obviously use whatever you want. They have a lot of different options, but the key is just you know what each of those symbols means. So it gives you that way to categorize the emails coming in to your inbox. Step number 2 is setting up your inbox. Now, if you are going to be using the star system like I do, you're going to want to set up 2 inboxes. And what does that even mean? Basically means when you log into your Gmail, you're going to have 2 sections to your inbox. So my setup is that I have my inbox, which is where all the incoming mail comes in. And then below that, I have a starred inbox. And that's where all of my starred items live. That helps me stay organized, where if it's in my inbox, it's something that I haven't dealt with yet. And if it's in my starred inbox, I know that it's been sorted and dealt with and categorized. So it really helps me keep track of incoming and if I have categorized and dealt with it or not. Next step is when an email comes in. Next step is when an email comes in, you need to decide what to do with it immediately. Don't just let it fester in your inbox. So star it if needed with one of your tags that you have set up. Decide what to do with it. And there are a few options here, and you have to do this. Don't just let it sit. We don't like a festering inbox. So you are going to either delete it, unsubscribe, archive it, schedule it to boomerang back to you for when you have time to deal with it. So for example, if you're like, I can't deal with this right now, I am running around, or I am doing pickup and drop off with my kids, I want this to come back to me tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., do that. Next option, forward it on to somebody that it is meant for, and then reply, and then archive it. So again, the options are delete it, unsubscribe, archive it, schedule it for later, forward it on, or reply, and then archive. If you do that, you will have the cleanest inbox and it feels really, really good. You'll be so organized. If you just do this, you're going to be a rock star, but I have a little bit of some extra credit homework if you want to be an overachiever, which I know you entrepreneurs sometimes are. We are going to talk about automation with filters. Now, I love automation because it basically means that you don't have to do anything. It just does it for you. Technology is the best. What's really cool with filters is in Gmail, you can filter your emails that are coming in by who's sending it, what the subject is or what the subject contains, if there's any contents of the email. So you could even have a word. If an email's coming in with a specific word, you can filter it, the size of the email. What's next is that you can set a filter, and there are a lot of options. So if it matches your criteria, your filter, you can skip the inbox. They'll just automatically archive it. You can mark it as read. You can star it with one of your magical stars that you set up. You can apply a label if you want to use labels. You can forward it automatically. You can delete it automatically. You can send a template email automatically. You can mark it as important, never mark it as important. So if you have that feature turned on, or you can categorize it as one of your categories. There are so many ways that you can actually just automate your inbox, which is awesome. So some examples of automation that I've used is if it's a voicemail coming in, we use RingCentral. It automatically gets forwarded to the people who deal with voicemails on my team. If it is a payment from Stripe, I automatically tag it with my green check mark so I know that it's money. So there are ways that if you are consistently dealing with the same type of email to have it automatically tagged and also have an action assigned to it. So archive it, forward it, delete it, categorize it. It's really awesome. Like you can make this so specific to your use case. It completely changes the game when it comes to inbox management. So those are my main tips. We have setting up your stars, figuring out what categories you want and need, setting up your multiple inboxes. So for me, that would be my inbox and my starred inbox. Committing to when an email comes in that you are going to decide what to do with it immediately. Do not let your emails fester. Extra credit if you want, do automation with filters. And then a few final tips. Unsubscribe diligently. I cannot say enough about this. I had made a commitment at the beginning of the year to unsubscribe diligently, and it has worked amazingly. I get so much less garbage in my inbox, which is great. Next step is set aside 15 minutes a day to organize your inbox on a laptop or computer. I know we love accessing our email on our phones. However, you can get a lot more done if you just clear it out with your laptop or your computer. Also, this is not a one time and you're done. You have to practice. Like if you are not used to doing this, you have to practice and then make tweaks as you go. And then this will become your own. Like you will have your own management system that is set for who you are and how your brain works. And then lastly, give yourself some grace. Inbox zero rarely happens, even with me, and I'm crazy about my inbox, but you're seriously winning the game if you can get to inbox 10 or less, and you will have a much clearer mind. You will not have that inbox anxiety, and you will feel so much more in control of your inbox game. That is it. Those are my tips. I hope that this was super helpful. Again, check out the show notes. You can download my instructional video on how to do all of this. My hope for all of you is that you can go from inbox mess to inbox success because it really does result in being a joyfulpreneur. Thank you so much for listening to the Joyfulpreneur podcast. Remember to check the show notes for all the links and resources mentioned in this episode. Your reviews also mean the world to me. If you're enjoying the podcast, please leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Until next time, stay joyful.